Hello, it's Alpha here, and today we are taking a look at the new Homestead game mode, and especially we are gonna be focusing on the crafting side of things. I just unlocked my Homestead level 7, so I haven't really had the time to see what kind of new things that unlocks. So that's why this video will mostly focus on Homestead level 5 and 6, and some general stuff about crafting. The idea is that I will first share the items and the crafting decks that I've been using to craft them. And then if you are interested, I will also give a couple general tips and tricks about crafting. But yeah, I think we'll just get started with the decks because maybe that's what some of you are only interested in and not so much about me yapping about the crafting. For some of these items, I have two different decks listed here based on the level of your homestead, because the thing about these decks in general is that it's a little bit hard to make a deck that is generally good for everyone, because once you upgrade your homestead, and especially like your forge and your kitchen, that will usually unlock new cards for you to use, or some like extra copies of existing cards, and then also you can upgrade your existing cards. So those differences might like change which deck is actually best for you, but these are in general should be like pretty good decks for everyone. I've also added some color coding related to the items, so generally speaking, the ones that have green on them means that I would prefer crafting those items because they are maybe a bit more effective in terms of like how much resources they consume and how likely you are going to be crafting better quality versions of them. And then some are marked with yellow and some are marked with red. Now it doesn't mean that you shouldn't craft like any of the yellow or red items. They are just a bit less like effective, but you can just craft them anyway if you feel so. I also have a link in the video description that will take you to a Google document that also has this, basically the same information, but in like written format, and I will add some stuff based on the Homestead level 7 there once I've had the chance to like kind of see if that changes things around, so that you have that information as well, so you can check that link in the video description. Just a general note about some of these recipes, even though it says that this is the deck that I've been using, or this is like potentially the best deck to use for this item, it doesn't mean that the crafts will be that great. Like with some items, it's pretty impossible to get like reliably high stars, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't like craft the item at all. It just means that there is no like possible deck to make it reliably 4-star or whatever, but it still might be like worth crafting those items anyway. I guess in general about the kitchen stuff, you might have noticed that heat control is part of like pretty much all of the decks, so that is kind of your main card that you're going to be using. The thing about these kitchen recipes is that they are pretty random in their outcome because of the way that heat control works. Yeah, so don't be discouraged if you get like 0-star results, because that's just how it is. There is kind of like no way around it. Yeah, so alchemy you unlock at level 6. I don't know what you unlock at level 7, like I said, but at level 6, these are not the best recipes in terms of like effectiveness, but you can of course craft them if your orders require them. Thing about the calming bouquet is that I don't think that there is at level 6 a good deck for it, so you will pretty much always get 0-star, and sometimes you randomly get like 2-star if you get lucky with the multiplier. But yeah, these are the forge recipes, and you can see that pretty much every recipe uses the forge expert card, so it's quite important that you upgrade that to level 2 at least. And with these recipes, the outcome is a lot less random. Like with the fine carver and the wooden arrow and the carved box, you have like pretty high chance to get the 4-star, especially once you unlock like level 6 forge. Before that, at level 5, your card box has quite a high chance to get 0 stars, and then sometimes get 4 stars. It's like 25% chance to get the 4-star, but it's like still fine to craft it. Those were the decks that I've been using. Then we can go through a couple tips and tricks about the crafting. So one of the things is that if you want, you can every day go to your friends and your guildmates' farms, and you can borrow their kitchen and forge to do 20 crafts yourself. So you can craft 20 items per day on your friends and guildmates' farms. Now this can be helpful if they, for example, have level 7 forge and their forge expert cards are level 3 or whatever. You can just use those to do your craft and you will most likely get like max star results. So definitely if you want to do that, then that's a good thing to utilize every day. Then just in general, whenever you upgrade your forge or kitchen, you usually unlock the option to upgrade some of your cards. So that is something that I would try to do when possible. Especially the 2 cards that I would recommend upgrading are the heat control and the forge expert, because those are the ones that you're going to be using on pretty much all of your crafting recipes. The other cards are not gonna be as important, so with these ones you're gonna be fine. The only thing that I would maybe say about the upgrading is that don't like overdo it. For example, I have the option to upgrade my Forge Expert from level 2 to level 3, but it would require me to craft 8 of the Calming Bouquet items, and I don't have a good deck to craft those items, so I'm just not going to do it right now. So one kind of like quality of life tip is that whenever you're using the smelter, the lumber mill and the essence crucible to refine some of your materials for crafting, you don't actually have to run around between them. If you have like, obviously you could just place all of them next to each other, which would make sense, but if you have not placed them next to each other, you don't have to run between them, because if you just select one of them, there is actually these arrows at the top of the building, and you can switch between those refining buildings from just one interface, and you can just use all of them from that one spot. One pretty obvious tip is that you can abandon your orders. So if you don't like one of your orders, just you can click on the abandon button, and there is like no cost to abandon one, and you can do this as many times as you want. You just have to wait like some couple minutes. Also, one thing to note is that you can see here that I have 4 orders unlocked. So this is something that you get once you unlock your homestead level 6 and 7. Those will add extra order slot for you. So that's good reason to also upgrade your homestead. One thing that is maybe not very relevant in many situations, but some of the crafting items have extra rules that might be easy to miss. I definitely missed some of these rules myself, but if you look at here, you can see that there is this line of text related to this specific item. It can sometimes change the way you would normally build your deck. But yeah, I think there is only like a couple items that actually do this so far, and on those ones it's not like super impactful. So yeah, but something to keep in mind. And then the last trick that I'm gonna mention is not really related to crafting, but it's something that you might not have noticed, and that is that you can move multiple buildings at the same time. So if you go click on the layout editing, and then on the top right corner you actually have this multi-select mode. So then if you click it active, then once you click multiple buildings, it will highlight those buildings. And then if you are on PC and you have selected multiple buildings, you can just hold down your mouse button, and after that you should be able to move all of the buildings at once to a new location.